Everyone should mute their microphones. No one should present or catch their screen or turn on their video. If any such activity is found, we will be directly pushing them out of the meeting and will never give a chance to join further meetings as well. No multiple chances to join the webinar. Once you quit, you will never be allowed again to join the same webinar. You can turn your mic on only if the speaker allows you to ask it out. If any mischief or disturbance is found by any participant, will be removed immediately and will be subjected to all the rules that we have set and will also be taken official charges. All the problems should be messaged to the event coordinators along with the screenshot. No one is supposed to no one is supposed to put some obligations of chat in the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Arshit. I wish you all a very good evening. I'm Rohit, CS MBSS Student Coordinator. It gives me great pleasure to extend a warm welcome to the webinar on data science. With your permission, I would like to give a short introduction about A.V. Krishnaprasad sir and Venu Gopal. Dr. A.V. Krishnaprasad is working as an associate professor in Department of Computer Science and Engineering at MBS Engineering College, Hyderabad. He awarded doctoral degree in computer science from Sri Venkateswara University, Tirupati in 2012. He got several patents. He published several books, book chapters, several papers in national, international conferences, and international journals. He is an editorial board member and reviewer for several international journals. He organized several programs on data science and analytics. He, inter- he interested research areas are mining, data science, and analytics. He is currently serving as honorary secretary for TSI Hyderabad chapter. And Dr. Venugopal is a doctorate in statistics from Osmania University. Venugopal sir is an experienced data analyst who has over 15 years of experience in diverse areas of verticals such as manufacturing, service, telecom, retail, pharma, and education, and his work at JustMark Mandate. He also worked in reputed organizations like TNS India and NFO MBL and served clients across UK, France, and Asia Pacific region. Venu's primary responsibility is to architect the solutions for the driven problems using statistical methods, machine learning, and deep learning algorithms for both structured and unstructured data. Venu's expertise lies in understanding of mathematical and statistical theory, experimenting with new methodologies and innovative ways of theory in the field of analytics. And coming to today's session, it is a 1.5 hour session about data science. The first part of the session will be delivered by A.V. Krishnaprasad sir about introduction to data science, project lifecycle of data science, and career opportunities in data science. And coming to the second part of the session, Dr. Venugopal will be covering about applications of data science. Thank you for being with us today. Now I request Dr. A.V. Krishnaprasad sir to continue the session.
Okay, thank you. Have you given presentation controls? Can you share the presentation controls?
Yes, sir, it is available.
Yes, sir. Your audio and video is clear, sir. If you are presenting the screen, please let us know so that we will pin the screen.
1 second. Okay. Is it visible to you?
Yes, sir.
This screen, is it visible? Okay. Good evening to all. Welcome to the Insights of Data session, data science session. Data science is a multidisciplinary subject, a combination of mathematics, computer science, statistics, and AI, machine learning concepts. It also uses scientific methods, processes, algorithms, and systems to extract knowledge and insights. It may be data may be either structured or unstructured data. If you see the combination of subjects, is it visible?
No, sir.
The screens of sir so that it will be visible. So for pinning your screen, please click on the member group and scroll down to Krishna Prasad AV so that you can see.
Harshit, we are able to see sir, but not the screen.
I think it will be right now. Okay, sir. Actually, it's visible for me. So let me check once again. Sir, please go on to your PPT, sir, so that it will be clear.
1 second, I'm not able to. Now, is it clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So data science, combination of computer science subjects, mathematical subjects, and also domain expertise also required, because we are using this data science in several applications like insurance, banking, telecom, social media, stock market, all these places. So domain expertise also required to use this. So related to computer science, any one programming language, based on the present industry point of view, Python or R programming language is suggestible. Database technologies, artificial intelligence concepts, machine learning, data mining, these concepts related to computer science. Mathematics point of view, statistics, linear algebra, these graph theory sets and the combination also required. So data science uses the concepts of statistics, machine learning, visualization.
Screen is not appearing, I think.
Is it not visible?
Yes, sir. It's not.
No one should present or cache this. It is visible, sir. You please go on, sir. Actually, people are not pinning your screen, so that's a problem. It is visible, sir.
Okay.
Okay. So whatever the point required information that you give to those people also, once again inform, they will pin that user.
Okay.
All the participants who has a problem with visibility or anything, please put your comments in the message and chat, and don't interrupt sir while explaining. Okay.
So you observe this diagram. This diagram shows the importance of data science. Data science requires concepts of machine learning, data mining, pattern recognition, statistics, visualization, databases, neurocomputing, all this involved directly, indirectly for building any data science application, data science project. If you see the evolution, we can understand why this data science is important. If you observe this evolution of data science word, before this also related to these applications are available that solved with statistical concepts, statistics and mathematics. In 1968, published a book, Guide to Concepts and Terms in Data Processing. There, they used the word data science. Even you observe the definition of data science they given in the test in that book. The science of dealing with the data once they have been established, while the relation of data to what they represent is delegated to other fields and sciences. That means we are living in data-centric world. Even this Industry 4.0 also discusses about the importance of data. So, if we want to utilize this data properly, we required data engineering, data science, that combination with the mathematics, statistics. So, and one more thing, in 1977, officially this data science word used in Indian Statistical Institute, ISI. In 1996, first conference conducted with the title Data Science Classification and Related Methods. This was the evolution of data science and history of data science. Here our title shows insights of data science. What is the meaning of insight? Here, after applying data science process on a data, at the end we are going to get result. That result is nothing but a insight or knowledge. Here insight refers to any value or anything which is easily understandable by the any layman also. That means, suppose if you given any problem like share market details, everything you given, that's the input data. Now your question is whether need to buy the share market or shares, or whether need to buy the shares or not. For this point of view, if a statistics gives the information like a statistical point of view, but a layman point of view requires either yes or no option only. That means you can buy the shares or not to buy the share. So the real value of data and analytics lie in their ability to deliver rich insights. So best insights are actionable and prescriptive. So insight refers to output, which is easily understandable by the end user. So this is the meaning of insights of data science meaning and insights meaning. So before entering into our actual process, actual subject, what is the meaning of, what is the Sanskrit word for insight? Just type in chat box, Sanskrit word for insight, data, science, statistics. For all these words, what are the Sanskrit words? Because Sanskrit is the base for all sciences. It may be either chemistry or biology or Sanskrit, statistics, anything. Sanskrit is the base. If you know Sanskrit word for this, just you type in chat box. Here insight refers to prajna, buddhi, jnatra. So here insight refers to give some value for decision making. It's a guidance to decision. Here data in Sanskrit word point of view, datta or dattamsha. That means we are following decimal number system. Science, shastra or vignan. statistics, Sankhya Shastra, analysis, Vishleshna. We started one Vishleshna journal also under CSI SIG BDA. Later I will send this Vishleshna journal information also. Those who are interested to publish papers, their articles or their projects info, they can publish freely in Vishleshna journal. Because we are following social distance, that's why I given social media also. Social refers to Samajik, media Prasara Madhyamani. Here, if you see any newspaper, any magazine, any journal, any textbook, you can find the words, buzzwords, data science buzzwords, data science terms. You can see the words like analysis, analytics, data analytics, big data, artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, neural networks. All these part of data science only. We'll see the meanings of analysis, analytics. Here, data analysis refers to anything, any data. If you are able to understand it, if you are able to study that data, understand it, that is nothing but data analysis. So, and another term is analytics. Here, analytics refers to, it's an entire methodology, like process of inspecting, cleaning, transforming, modeling, anything. All methodology involved in automation of this analysis process is nothing but analytics. Here, data analysis refers to understanding that you can use either descriptive analysis or for prediction purpose also you can use predictive. Analytics point of view. Here, analytics include both data analysis and communication. Analysis point of view, a statistical person applies some statistical formula, statistical methodology, and get the result. Whatever the result you are going to get, that insight, that result is understandable by the statistical experts only, not the layman, not the Navy user. If you apply analytics, whatever the insight you are going to get, that insight is able to understandable by the Navy user also. That means analytics includes data mining or data analysis and communication, guide to decision making. So this is general data storage terminology. General, why I specified this storage terminology in the sense, at present we are generating huge voluminous data. That capacity, how we are measuring. YouTube generates a lot of videos every minute generating videos. Facebook, social media, internet generating lots of data. That means we are living in data centric world. This data, how you are utilizing, if you are able to utilize properly, you are the king, you are the master in this. Here, related to this storage capacity measurements only, importance of word Google. Why they used the word Google for their browser or search engine? Any hint or any solution for this? Any answer from, if you know meaning of why they used the word Google? Meaning of Google, importance of Google. Not the importance of Google browser or Google search engine, Google word. If you know, just chat in, write in chat box. Here, we are following decimal number system. We know ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, lakhs, 10 lakhs, million, trillion. Google refers to 10 to the power of 100. So 10 to the power of 100, that is the importance of Google word. So whatever the data available, that data, it may be either structured or unstructured. But computer science point of view, we are calling it as a character, numeric, integer. But statistical terminology point of view, they are using the words like discrete, continuous, scaled variable, ordinal, rational, categorical. In this way, they are using the words data types. So another category is it may be either univariate or bivariate or multivariate. And even you are collecting the data in the form of some sensors like by using RFID sensors, web term data, sensor array data, even for the social media point of view, if you think about the product comparison point of view or product interest about the product point of view, you can find a smiley symbol, angry symbol, some emoticons. These symbols are also useful for analyzing sentiment analysis or behavior analysis or recommendations point of view. These emoticons, emojis are also helpful. That means data available in internet or in different formats. It may be either structured or unstructured. If it is structured data, you can view in one-dimensional, two-dimensional, multi-dimensional. If it is unstructured data, that you need to process it and again you need to use. Just a small thing. If it is a structured data for available in two-dimensional format, that you can convert into multi-dimensional format for easy understanding. It's like a exploratory analysis, visualization point of view for understanding. That you can convert into a two-dimensional table into three-dimensional format. Here also some normalization concepts available. If it is a 4-column attribute, how we are able to utilize? If it is 3-column attribute, we visualized in this way. If it is 4-column attribute, so even 4-column attribute also available, we can visualize like a cube structure. So by using cube structure, we can easily compare, we can easily analyze. Even we are using the word big data also. Here, this big data meaning anything which is not able to handle with a traditional database tools. That is nothing but a big data. As per the big data black book point of view, they given some 4 properties like 3 V's, 3 C's, 4 V's in this way. They given 4 properties. One is data increases continuously. Any data which is continuously increasing, it may be the structure or unstructured, and also one more thing, difficult to analyze, and if you are not able to understand within certain tolerable time limit, that treated as big data. So these are the 4 properties related to the big data. If big data available, that is in unstructured format. If unstructured data available, we need to handle with NoSQL databases or MongoDB. We are not focusing related to the unstructured data. Here, statistics point of view, descriptive analysis, predictive analysis. Descriptive, describing the data, understanding, visualizing. Predictive, forecasting, estimation, predictive analysis. These are available in our statistics point of view. But coming to our analytics point of view, you can find 4 types of analytics. These named as descriptive analytics, diagnostic analytics, predictive analytics, prescriptive, and you can increase like cognitive analytics also you can increase, 5th one. Here, descriptive analytics refers to you need to understand what happened, why it happened, what is the root cause for this. That is comes under diagnostic analysis. What will happen, that comes under predictive analytics. Forecasting, how to make it happen, prescriptive analytics. It's like a doctor prescription, how to make it happen. So these related to the analysis, analytics, big data buzzwords, these are all related to data science only. So overall, data science refers to gain insights into data through computation, statistics, and visualization. That means your input is some data set. It may be that structured or unstructured, whatever that input data. On that input data, you can apply computation, statistics, and visualization, and you can get insights. That is nothing but a data science. So as per the Blumenstock, data scientist refers to someone who knows more statistics than a computer scientist and more computer science than a statistician is a data scientist. So another Shlomo Aragman point of view, data scientist is equal to statistician plus programmer plus coach plus storyteller plus artist. That means data scientist requires qualitative skills, quantitative skill, technical aptitude, curious and creative skill, critical thinking. So these are all the minimum characteristics, minimum qualities for a data scientist. So till now we discussed a few points. Within this, can you specify the statistical analysis? What we specified, what we discussed previous slides? Statistical analysis, 2 types of statistical analysis we specified. Just type in chat box. Descriptive statistical analysis, another one is predictive statistical analysis. So analytics, what is analytics? Analytics, it's an entire methodology. What are the different types of analytics? We discussed 4 types of analytics. What are those 4 types of analytics? Just to type in chat box, please. I request all the participants try to attempt. Descriptive, diagnostic, predictive, prescriptive analytics. What is data science? Here, data science refers to science which deals about data with the combination of other subjects. So data science is an interdisciplinary subject handling data with a combination of subjects. What are the qualities of data scientist? Just now we discussed qualities of data scientist. Whatever you feel, whatever you know, just you type in chat box. Here are quantitative skills, technical aptitude, creative mindset, storyteller. So one example related to the data science analytics problem point of view. Here, if you are a data scientist, you got one problem like you need to analyze the consumer purchasing behavior patterns about the supermarket. You need to explain these supermarket purchasing behavior patterns, consumer purchasing behavior patterns in a supermarket. You need to explain with 3 main life event situations. Consumer purchasing behavior patterns in a supermarket, you need to explain with 3 main life event situations. Here, marriage, when people tend to buy many new products, divorce, buy new products and change their spending habits, pregnancy, people have many new things to buy and have urgency to buy them. Suppose if you purchased a computer, immediately you required to purchase a software or a printer or any antivirus software, anything linked to it. So it's like any thing you need to explain in a easy understandable form. So for this data science, statistics is the base. Statistics is the grammar of data science. Here, before this data science also, statisticians available. So how is this different from statisticians and present data scientist point of view? So before this, business administration, exploratory data analysis, these two available. Linked with this exploratory data analysis, predictive available. But at present, on this, you are applying data mining algorithms, artificial intelligence algorithms, machine learning algorithms, and creating some hidden new things, hidden insights, hidden knowledge you are extracting. So why we are giving importance to the business analytics? Here, this data science where we are using. So one of the important application area is business. Here you observe the business analytics. Why this data science required in business process? Analytics is required in business process. You need to understand the history of business, evolution of business. Then you can easily understand the importance of involving data science into business. Here, product view started with the exchange of goods. There is no money involvement, exchange of goods. Later, suppliers and customers, money involvement. Next, suppliers, customers, owners, employees. Here, whenever more actors involved, their analysis requirement. So, suppliers, customers, owners, employees. At present, you can find in any business, either increasing the profits of that business or decreasing. Even social media also involved. Suppliers, customers, government, environment, online communications, news, media, international partners, multinational companies, all involved in business point of. So whenever more actors involved, their analysis required. So where we use this analysis, it may be fixing the pricing or maybe customer segmentation. All this for increasing the profitability, increasing their business. Before this data scientist, this word, they used analytics, business in analytics, business intelligence. Here, business analytics, business intelligence. You observe in business intelligence point of view, they used the concept of statistics, descriptive analysis, but there is no predictive. You can find this business intelligence, there is no prediction. But business analytics point of view, prediction is available. Prediction is available. So data handling, data storage management. Just to understand the difference between analytics, business intelligence. This is the table. So if you take any enterprise data modeling, business domain, these three involved. Business analyst, data scientist. Business analyst focuses on business domain. Business analyst focuses on business domain, but data scientist focuses on modeling, optimization model, which model is best suits. So business analyst education point of view, data scientist is more more qualitative in business when compared to business analyst. Coming to the career options in data science, you can find one myth is introducing this data science, AI and ML vanishes the jobs, reduces the jobs. This data science field involves in automation process and reduces the job market. as well as increasing the job opportunities related to data science, like business analyst, data architect, data engineer, data scientist. In this way, several job opportunities also available related to data science. This is the one comparative statement related to the data analyst, machine learning, data engineer, data scientist. Main focus. So data architect plays methodology. Overall industry uses point of view, data science you can use in biotechnology, energy, finance, gaming, theory, government, healthcare, insurance, internet, manufacturing. In this way, several places you can use this data science concept. Required technologies related to data science are programming language. It may be either Python or R. Database SQL. If it is unstructured, NoSQL or MongoDB, Hadoop, Tableau, visualization point of view. If it is big data, Hadoop required. Here, for any project, data science involved, data sources, computations, and a end user point of view. This is like a front end, back end point of view. Here, Python started with back end supportive and came into uses of front end supportive also. R started with visualization, but R supports back end process also, back end supportive. So if you see the data science project life cycle, 5 stages available. First step is obtain data, OSCE-MN. Obtain data, scrub data, explore data, model data, interpreting data. So if any data science project, these are the 5 steps involved. Major these 5 steps. Here obtain OSCE-MN. Obtain data, it refers to data collection, data sources. Scrubbing refers to data pre-processing. Explore data understanding, model building, and interpreting the result, visualization. So obtain data collection, sources. Scrub data refers to data cleaning, data pre-processing. Explore data, descriptive, applying the statistics. Model data, based on the data available, based on the domain, data domain, you can identify the model. Different types of models are available, and interpreting data, visualization. These are the minimum basic 5 steps for any data science project. Here, for data collection point of view, one option may be query. Already data available in database. From this database, you can query and create a subset that you can use for data, or maybe either flat file or Excel data, or maybe if it is unstructured data, you can use NoSQL, MongoDB. If it is social media data, you can collect data from Facebook, WhatsApp, Twitter, social media data collections. Website data, you can use a web scraping. You can use web scraping tool, Beautiful Soap, or maybe web API, IoT sensor data. Even you can collect data sets from predefined data sets like Kaggle, KD Nuggets, ISRO, NRSC, Bhuvan. These sites are also available. From this sites also you can collect data sets. On these data sets, you can apply this analytics process or data science process for getting insights. Here, for our environment point of view, requires some structured point. So required CSV format. CSV, comma separated value, or tab separated value formats, or special parser format. XML form, XML data, that also you can use. Here, by using IoT also you can collect sensor data, IoT sensor data, that also you can use for analysis point. Even whatever the data you are collecting, you can put into network and you can use convert into a structured form that you can use. So once data set created, data available, that data is correct data or valid data, that you need to verify it. So for this data cleaning, one of the step, data that we call it as data pre-processing. So in this second step, that we call it as scrubbing data. Here, as per the data mining, we can see garbage in, garbage out. If input is not correct, output is also not the expected one. No quality data, no qualitative results. So in this scrubbing data, we are going to apply data consolidation, data summarization, data cleaning, handling missing values, identifying outliers. Even you can use dimensionality reduction. In this way, several options are available depending on the data available. One of the example, text processing, text cleaning techniques, like you can apply whatever that, suppose Twitter data, recent COVID data we collected by using Twitter. The same on this Twitter data, I applied text processing concepts, converted into structured form, applied topic modeling that recently published in one of the journal, COVID data. Make all text into lowercase letters, removing punctuation, removal of stop words, removing URLs. These are all text processing steps involved. Even if data is images, in that images, scrubbing, noise removal, image filtering. In this way, different methods are available for image pre-processing also. So by applying this data pre-processing, handling missing values, by applying all this, you can identify important attributes that we call it as featured attributes. On these featured attributes, you can apply analytics, apply some model. So example, they given handling missing values, you can ignore the data or deleting data or pairwise deletion or deleting columns, or if it is imputation related to the continuous data, if it is time series data with the trend, without trend, without trend, you can apply mean, median, mode, random sample imputation processes. If it is data with the trend, you can apply linear interpolation. If it is general problem, categorical multiple imputation, logistic regression you can use. Continuous data, mean, median, this type of linear regression you can use. So that is depending on the data, you can select the model also. Here, this third step is exploring data. Here, you need to, once you identify the data, you need to understand, you need to explore the data, inspect the data and its properties. So for this, you can apply data descriptive statistics. So by using descriptive statistics, so you can identify the data types and its properties. It may be, if it is categorical, ordinal, interval data, one type. One example related to this. This is the data set. On this, you need to classify the data elements. If it is categorical data, one type of method. If it is ratio, one type of method that you need to identify. So ordinal data, ranking point of view. So this is the simple example. Try to identify if it is quality of life. Is it a nominal data or ordinal data? Just to specify it. You identify the correct types, variable types. Quality of life is one of the variable, ethnicity is one of the variable, race is one variable, diabetes, systolic BP, these are all the variables, and its values also available. By using this, you need to identify its data type. Just to specify in chart box. I request all the participants, you identify the data type of this variable and type in chat box. Quality of life, ordinal. Ethnicity nominal, race nominal, diabetes nominal, BP comes under continuous. So once you understand the data, once you explore, you apply, completed the concept of data analysis, exploration. That means you identified, you understand the data, you identified the important attributes. So on this, you need to apply the model, modeling the data, model data. Here, inputs data sets, it may be uncontrolled variable or decision value, control variable or uncontrolled variables are available. On this, you need to apply one model. It may be a decision model or a decision model. Outputs, insights you are going to get, measures of performance or behavior. This is modeling. So this identifying the model is most important. For model selection, if you are applying some classification techniques, training data, sampling, based on sampling, you can apply some training and select the model. This is one option. Or there is no sampling concept, directly you want to use, there you can use clustering methods. So if you are trying to apply prediction, definitely in that some uncertainty risk is associated. So in this model, machine learning algorithms are available. These machine learning algorithms may be supervised learning, unsupervised learning algorithms, reinforcement learning algorithms, maybe like classification, clustering algorithms. Here, machine learning algorithms, you can categorize into supervised, unsupervised, semi-supervised. Here, if it is your data is related to the continuous target variable, you can apply, you can treat it as a supervised learning, you can apply regression model. If it is a categorical target variable, you can apply classification. If there is no target variable, that means there is no class label, there you can use unsupervised learning. This comes on unsupervised learning. You can use clustering or association. Some categorical target variable available, classification, or this is like a semi-supervised learning. Here, if you are applying prediction, predictor variable is continuous, you can apply linear regression. Response variable is continuous, you can apply linear regression. And response variable is categorical, you can apply logistic regression. If no response, clustering. If predictor variable is categorical, you can apply linear regression or neural networks. If it is response variable is categorical, you can apply decision tree or logistic regression, association rule. This table gives a basic idea of data sets and type of algorithm. Model selection is based on this. So prediction techniques, regression models, linear regression model, logistic regression model available. Regression models may be or auto regression model. That means if data is a stream, data is in motion, streaming data, you can use moving average models. Auto regression integrate moving average models. If suppose weather forecasting, you are collecting weather from ionosphere continuously, so that is treated as continuous data. In that, there you can use ARIMA model, Holt Winter, fuzzy logic, neural network, genetic algorithms. In this way, Lasso, one of the most important algorithm. This is useful for weather forecasting. This we used in our paper, weather forecasting. Even deep learning also we are using. Deep learning is also one of the concept related to the machine learning. Deep learning is the part of artificial intelligence. So deep learning is an artificial function that imitates the working of the human brain in processing data creating patterns for use in decision making. So here overall, this data analytics, deep data science, whatever the process we are going to get, at the end we are going to get some insights. That insights are useful for decision making. Here, as a human point of view, human thoughts are correct. Human thinking positively, you can take positive decision. So this imitates the human brain, also one of the concepts in this artificial intelligence. So in this deep learning, you can find the concepts like ANN, artificial neural network, convolution neural networks, RNN, recursive neural networks. If it is text data, you can use the ANN, artificial neural networks. CNN, images, if data is images, spatial data or images, you can use CNN. If it is continuously repeated data available, you can use RNN network, recurrence neural networks. So based on that, you can select the model. Here, one thought provocative idea. Here, are we trying to develop a machine which acts like a human? You can use the buzzwords like data science, artificial intelligence, deep learning, machine learning, neural networks, cognitive science, robotics, big data. Here, if we see the artificial intelligence, next generation artificial intelligence, data science point of view, we are trying to develop a machine which acts like human. That we can use voice recognition systems, image recognition systems, pattern recognition systems, recommendation systems. So here, relevance checking, how we are going to check? So that we call it as a maximum likelihood measures. If it is in clustering, some distance measures are available that specifies the likeness. So for thought, for taking positive decision point of view, our five senses should be correct. Five senses: eye, ear, nose, taste, smell. These panchendriyalu, these should be correct. Then only we take positive decision. Even we can create artificial neurons for eye point of view, artificial neuron, for hearing point of view, some sensors. By using sensor also we can create. Here one NPTEL course available related to this five senses, controlling the thoughts from your brain. Those who are interested, they can go through this course. It's not related to the data science, but it's linked with the data science. We call it as cognitive science. We call it as a cognitive science. So these models are required to identify, to use the computation point of view. Once you apply the model, you can get the results that we call it as insights. That we call it as interpreting the data, visualization. So interpretation, actionable insight is a key outcome from a data science project. So in data visualization point of, in R, we can use ggplot. In Python, matplotlib, ggplotlib, seaborn, this numpy, this required. So these are the 5 steps involved in building any data science project. This is one example related to the process flow of a data science project. So raw database, you apply data pre-processing. If it is an outlier detection available, you can apply unsupervised learning. If there is no outliers, you can apply supervised learning, clean data set. You can apply labels. You can select features, identify the features. Supervised learning. You can apply the model classification model, supervised learning classification model, get the result. This is one process flow, an example. For fraud detection, another example. for fraud detection point of view, some training data required, training data, daily transactions. Transaction with the features, daily transaction with the risk scores, daily report, model improving by applying some deep learning. If you perform any transactions as per the routine transactions, no problem. If you are performing transactions apart from the routine transactions, you can get treated as a fraud. So overall, different data sources, it may be either streaming or anything, store and apply analytics, get insights, so that useful for decision making. So this is the steps involved in data science life cycle. One example, suppose if data available, Bitcoin data set available, now you are trying to apply a forecasting method, that means prediction on Bitcoin data set. You can apply any model. For one method, maybe start with the Navy approach. You can get some insight. Simple average model, you can get some insight. Moving average, you can get simple single exponential smoothing, Holt's linear trend method, Holt's winter seasonal method, ARIMA. In this way, different methods are available based on the data set, based on the method, based on the model you are using, you get the result. So overall, this data science objective is identifying the hidden data. You can use this in weather forecasting, stock market predictions, food grain prediction. So this data I collected from towardsdatascience.com. You can find related to data science by using Analytics Vidya also. These are all the URLs related to this data science. This self-analytics, so at present we are in lockdown period. Physical fitness is also important. Do yoga, do breathing exercises, improve your physical fitness, improve your concentration power, and also maintain social distance with electronic devices at least 2 hours per day. This increases your health. This for your increasing your immunity power. Practice meditation towards spirituality, leads to spirituality. Even recently AICT also announced practice yoga. As per the AICTE, they given links related to the Swasa University yoga links. By using these YouTube videos also, you can learn yoga. So overall, purpose of life is awakening within you and awakening the others. Lifelong love for learning. Any questions? Question and answers. Any questions also you can chat, or you can unmute, you can ask me.
Sir,
Any questions you can
what are the
you can unmute and ask me, or chat box.
Good evening, sir. This is Dr. Tirupati Reddy. Hello.
Hello.
Good evening, sir. This is Dr. Tirupati Reddy.
Okay, sir. Please.
Could you suggest the textbooks for data science for beginners?
Data science for business.
Beginners.
One data science blog book available. Data science modeling. That blog book based. Even this deemed universities, Kale University, Geetham University also.
Sir, I'm not
following
asking
this
about
data science blog book.
for beginners to learn data science theoretical fundamentals. Could you suggest any textbook?
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Hello. Hello.
Sir, you can continue, sir.
Yeah, I think can I answer that question? I think what is the best books for the beginner courses? If you are looking
Yes,
only
sir.
for the books, or you are looking for any kind of online material also? Because there are a lot of online sources available. Analytics Vidya is one of the best, content for the analytics. People who wants to get into the data science. They have a lot of free courses as well as paid courses. But to start, I think you just go to Analytics Vidya and search. You will get. Otherwise, that's the one of the option. Uh, and if you want to really get into the codes like R and Python, there is a Code Academy is there. That is also one of the best way to start the coding also. Or towards data science is also one of the best option. There also you can see a lot of blog posts. They are starting very good fundamental basic fundamentals for data science. But I suggest Analytics Vidya. Go to Analytics Vidya and check their content and courses. There are really nice free courses also there. Yeah. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. So, can I start now, or is anything?
Yes, sir. You can continue the session, sir.
Yeah. Let me screen my screen. Yeah, thank you, Krishna Prasad sir. That was really great explanation about data science, various concepts, different roles and the stages of the data science. You have given the complete process. Hello, hi, good evening, everyone. You can hear my voice? I don't.
Yes, sir.
Hello. Yeah, thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Dr. M. Venugopal. Thanks for having me here. Now I will rest of the session. Probably I will talk about industry perspective. Till now, he has given a nice explanation about what is data science. What are the different components of the data science, and what are the different applications also. So now I will mostly talk about industry perspective because I am from industry. So I will talk about industry perspective, different examples, and as being most of the students are here, I will also talk about what kind of skills you need to build to enter into the data science field. Okay, you can see my screen also, correct? Hello.
Yes, sir. We can see it.
Yeah, thank you. See, basically, if you see the present world, the world is changing very rapidly. I mean, the world is changing faster than ever before. So this change has basically given two kind of situations for us, especially the young students like you. One is the positive news, and second one is the good, negative news. See, what is the negative? Let's start with the negative news. Because of the lot of changes are happening in the industry, the most of the jobs are getting lost. And that is the negative news. And the positive news is at the same time, a lot of jobs are getting created. Okay, so what is the kind of jobs we are losing? So if you see the jobs which require only operational thinking, those kind of getting jobs, those kind of jobs are getting lost with the virtue of the automation. So at the same time, there are a lot of jobs are getting created in the concept of in the field of artificial intelligence. Which includes machine learning, deep learning, robotics, VR, AR kind of thing. There are a lot of jobs are getting created. So if you use this disruption in positive side, and if you use this disruption positive side, and if you learn and adapt all this new technology, you are at the positive side and you have the very nice career in future. Otherwise, if you doesn't use this disruption, if you are not able to learn the new technologies, and if you are not able to reach the pace where the industry is moving, then you are at the negative side. So that's why, I can say that it's the good news for you students, because you guys are going to enter into the field. Because anyway you will learn, anyway there is a huge opportunity for you to learn all the concepts, all the technologies. So definitely there is going to be a good news for you, as long as you are able to learn and adapt, inclination to learn the new technologies. Okay, this is one of the standard report is given by some standard standard norms like NOSCOM, like we are by 2025 millions kind of jobs are getting automated. 69% jobs are threatened by the automation, and the jobs like lawyers, not lawyers, like financial advisors and legal advisors, these kind of the jobs which only require some kind of operational decisions, these are all getting automated. So that is the one reason. And the second reason is basically, if you see the present world, everything is getting the digital, disruption, digital thing. So as per some, article, by 2020, the 90% of human activities will happen through the digitalization. So because of the digitalization, there is a huge demand for the consumer experience also. These are all the changes are happening. These changes are actually taking the industry into the next level. So these changes this kind of changes are happening for all kind of domains. It's not specific to any domains. It will happen for all kind of domains. Some of the domains is already there in kind of disruption. Using advanced technology. Disruption means I am saying, the technology disruption. If you use the technology and upskill yourself, disruption is the positive news. If you doesn't use the technology, if you're not able to upskill yourself, the disruption is the negative news. So most of the companies already started working with IT storms, or data science storm, or industry storms. Already they are in Hurricane. That means all the banking, retail, all the industries already started using advanced technologies, and these are the some of the breakups. So, but whatever field you work in the future, so you have to work with this kind of technologies. That could be AI, that could be ML, that could be DL. That technology which drives through the data. Okay. So this is not the first time happening. If you see the industry, these kind of revolutions have happened 4 times, happened earlier also. Now people are calling this as industry 4.0. But if you see the some of the revolutions, till now we have seen the 4 major industry revolution. The first industry revolution people will call as the steam-based revolution a long time back. So when the steam-based revolutions happened, the trains came into the picture and they made a lot of changes in the transportation. That's people call as the industry revolution. The second industry revolution people will call it the electricity-based industry revolution. That when electricity was invented, so it is really break through the lot of industry changes that time, and there are a lot of missions built with the electricity, and which basically huge industry revolution. What happened with that? Where there are a lot of missions, they try to reduce the physical stress of the humans. That's people call the industry revolution. Second industrial revolution, the people will call it IT. The third industrial revolution is basically computer and IT. Now we are in the fourth industrial revolution. This industrial revolution is basically people will call artificial intelligence, big data, cloud, all these latest technologies. We are in the fourth industrial revolution, and some people will also call this as industry 4.0. So in this industry, the biggest weapon is the data. So data. So earlier people will say data is oil, data is electricity. Why people will say like that? Because once you have the oil and electricity, you can make a lot of products which can use for different needs. Similarly, now we have the huge data where people are trying to build a lot of applications and using their on their regular daily life to life. That's why this industry revolution is called the data-driven industry revolution, in which it cannot only reduce the human physical burden, it can also reduce a lot of human mental burden also. So that kind of industry revolution we are here. So I will describe more about this industry revolution. And one more advantage of this industry revolution is basically earlier all the companies companies they call as the C2B business. I mean, the B2C business, business to customer. But now in this industry revolution, every companies are trying to give the customer at customer to, they are trying to serve the customer at more personalization level, more personal level. That means what I mean is basically, if you see the YouTube, what will happen? You see some of the videos. Whenever you open YouTube, what will happen? Next, you will find the videos which are related to whatever you watched earlier, or as per your viewing history. That means YouTube using the data science to find it basically uses your viewing pattern and try to give the videos which are very interested to you. This is called the personalized. It will try to survey at more at personalized. This is called the personalization. So in this industry, fourth industry revolution, all the companies are trying to give the services at more personal level. So that is the advantage of this industry revolution. This is the fourth industry revolution. Because of time, I am skipping some other side. So so basically all the only data. So data. So why this industry basically, as we discussed, like industry is completely driven by the data. So if the data itself is not, it's not only if the data is there, it is not enough to solve. So we need a process. So that process is basically called the data science process. I mean, there are different names. Earlier people will call it as statistical analysis. Earlier in between they call data mining. Now people calling data science. Whatever it may be, the definition of this is we have the raw data, but we can't find anything from the raw data itself. Data, it cannot talk anything. So then what we need to use, we need to information on the data and try to get the knowledge and use for the action. So that's why if you ask me what is the simple definition for data science, you just need to say the data, knowledge, action. So that is the definition of the data science. What kind of data is? So you need to apply your knowledge on the data, that knowledge through either domain knowledge or statistical knowledge or programmatical knowledge on the data, and get some kind of insights and apply on the business. So that's the simple definition of the whatever. If I say data science, machine learning, the approach is same: data, knowledge, action. So as Sir told that it's there from the 1960s onwards. I am skipping, where people used to take the decisions using on the data. So this is, but earlier also, like there has been complete shift in the data science happened over from 2000 onwards. Before also there was a lot of data science and statistical models are there, where people where all the companies try to use the data. They can also do a lot of for example, government will also use a lot of data analysis, and they will lot of data analysis based on the census data, and they will design these policies and everything. These are all some of the old application. I mean, some of the applications which are behind 2020. And but what happened recently? There has been a lot of shift happened in the data science. So present, what happened? There is a huge data. Then the technology becomes cheap. I mean, the speed, the computing power becomes speed. The speed becomes speed, and the memory devices are getting speed. So the completely, because of the changes, the analytics industry is completely changed. So if you see the present data analysis, I mean, what they called present, if you see there is a the present, actually earlier the data analysis is basically somebody will give some kind of data, small data or structured data, and they will build the solutions and give it to you. But recently what happened, there has been data exploration. A lot of data exploration happened. So because of data exploration and the computing speeds are increased, the GPUs came into the existence, and the memory devices are getting cheaper and cheaper, and all this is completely shifted the industry coming to the new direction. So if you see, that's why the present era is called as the big data era. And if you see, the three major reasons what people call for this is basically, one is the unstructured data, and second one is the memory devices are getting cheaper and cheaper. Third one is the census kind of data. So because of these three innovations, people are capturing a lot of data. And as per some saying, out of 100% data, the 90% data is captured around last 2 to 2.5 years. Now actually it is also changing. Now every year the data is getting doubled. So because of these changes, the complete data analysis industry is completely changing to new direction. And also the computing, like as I explained, there is a distribution computing comes into the picture. And other than that, the number of devices connect to the internet, and these are the number of the devices in connect to the internet. And this picture itself clearly explains how the data stores are become cheaper and cheaper. All these actually giving lot of data. So once we have the data, so obviously we need to build lot of products. So I will ask one question. If you see the present data science applications, you can see mostly from Google, Facebook, or Microsoft. Why they are able to do it? They have data. So once you have the data, you can build a lot of products out of the data, and you can serve the customer at his more personal level. So now what is happening? Most of the companies are collecting the data. In future, most everybody will have the data. Hence, there is a huge demand for the data scientist. So once we have the data cannot talk anything. It's her or own. So we need to build a lot of analytical solutions out of it, and give the utilities. So in future, most companies have this data because all the changes, everybody is collecting the data. So hence there is a huge need for the data scientist in future. Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir. You are audible, sir.
I don't know, some disturbance is coming. Okay. Where I am. So if you see this present data, in every 1 hour in YouTube, actually we are video 20 hours videos are getting uploaded. So that kind of data we are actually capturing. So once we have the data, it's always so if you have only the data, you can build a lot of products, solutions or services which can benefit the customers. So in future, all the companies are going to have the data. Hence there is a huge need for the data scientist in future. Okay, so the summary is basically the data is getting generating lot. Hello. Echo is coming. Is it okay? My voice is okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's clear.
Yeah. So the summary is basically what I'm trying to say. Compared to earlier, the present data science, the present industry is basically more seen as a data exploration industry, and the computing powers is also the storage capacity, the storage devices are getting cheaper and cheaper, and the power of computation and parallel computing systems are getting systems are coming into the picture. And a lot of structured and unstructured data. Basically, when we talk about data, imagine how much data we are generating through like Facebook and social media. A lot of structured and unstructured data. And parallelly, as the computers can also, they along with side, there are also some algorithms which can also, earlier in the past, the data analysis more seen as a structured data. Now with the concept of natural language processing and computer vision, now the computers can also understand the unstructured data, and where they are unstructured data, hence their applications are getting better and better. Okay, so that's the major difference between earlier data science applications and now data science applications. So now let me take some of the applications in the data science. So now if you see, actually I have a lot of videos. If you see some of the applications, I will explain. First, let's take retail application. So now recommendation engine. Earlier, actually, if you see the if you see in the retail business, the recommendation is one of the best application for the retailers. Out of Amazon, the 30% of their profit is coming from the recommendation engine. So when you buy something, they will understand your habits, and they will find the similar kind of person who matches with your habits and try to target what he was bought. So that kind of recommendation engine. Or like if you buy something, you also see the recommendation engine. People like you also bought this. So these kind of recommendation engines are really helping the retailers. And also inventory management. I mean, inventory management, how many stocks I need to keep. That is also one of the data science applications. One of the latest advanced data science applications is basically Amazon Go. I think I will play this video. You just see this video. You can understand what the video is trying to do. 1 minute. Oh, So these kind of the feature descriptions we are seeing. If you see the deep learning AI applications in the retail industry, so what that video actually, there is no voice. What it's trying to do is basically you don't need to stand on the queues. Go to the shop and bring whatever and take whatever you want and just go out. So what it does is basically it will, with the computer vision technology, whatever you choose, it will basically add to the cart. And once you go back, it automatically debited from your whatever wallet or whatever. So these kind of applications are happening. So this is one of the major disruption. Already this kind of applications started in India also. In Kerala, one of the mall is already started doing this. So this is one kind of disruption. I mean, this is all latest applications of the data. So who is getting benefited with this? Ultimately, the customer is getting to benefited with this. In the industry 4.0, the most valuable person is the customer. Okay, everybody wants to give the more personalized customer services, whoever it may be. So they wanted to attract the customer, they wanted to customer retain, they want the customer satisfaction. Hence, this industry revolution, that industry 4.0 is most supportive for the customer. So that is in the retail industry. And I'm just clicking, I'm just skipping. And actually I represent a company where we build a lot of healthcare, we product for healthcare. So the technology is completely changing the healthcare industry in future. Basically we already seeing a lot of image kind of tools are coming, I think, which are trying to somehow replace the radiologist, not completely. Basically this kind of applications will help the radiology to take the better decision. So in future we will see the radiology persons who will basically take the computer driven output, and he will check whether it's correct or not. So that's where it is very useful. So this kind of image analysis is really useful because the MIT based one of the computer institution come up with a 3D image analysis where it can scan the human brains in 100 different angles and it will give the analysis. So in which cases it's really useful. It's very difficult to access the brain images. So that's why these kind of tools and technologies is very useful. And with the computer vision technologies, I mean, these kind of tools are coming which help the customer. And drug creation, assisted robotic surgeries, already we can see in Hyderabad also some of the robotic surgeries are happening. And we can also see the virtual nurses and electronics healthcare record. Basically we basically capture the patient information, and based on that information we can also try to give the more personalized healthcare service. So these are all some of the things are happening in healthcare. In manufacturing, let me skip this, but because I wanted to talk about this healthcare industry, because this is very everyone can easily understand this application. Now complete HR industry is basically getting automated with the concept of AI, natural language processing, and machine learning and deep learning. So let me put the simple definitions. What is AI? What is artificial intelligence? Artificial intelligence is basically creating an intelligent system which behave like humans. That's the artificial intelligence system. And what is natural language processing? Natural language processing is basically enabling computers to understand human language. That could be English or any language where computers can understand the language. What is computer vision? Computer vision is basically enabling computers to understand the images. Because the technology has changing rapidly and there has been a lot of algorithms came into the picture. Sorry, a lot of algorithms are there, and has been a lot of data. Uh, Data explosion happening which supports the algorithm. People will generally says that algorithms already there from 16, 17, 18, 1900s also, but what was not there at that time, data is not there. That's why we are not able to build the products or solutions at this level. But of late the data is getting generated more and more, hence now we are able to build this kind of application. So that's why the story behind
In the mail, you have any queries, you can ask me. Hello? Is it audible?
Yes, sir.
I think sorry, have some network problem.
Yes, sir.
In the meantime, you can ask me any doubts. Sir joined. Sir also joined.
Yeah, so sorry because my internet. So can I share my screen?
Yeah, please share, sir.
Yeah. So I don't know where I actually disconnected. You saw the HR case study? I mean, HR, how HR is getting automated? Is that was there? Okay. Let me summarize. So what I'm trying to say is basically because the data has, grown so much level, the data growth is there. So what happened? The approach, the learning approach also changed. Earlier, people used to call us software engineer kind of people. So what actually, in the software, basically we have, let's say, basically we have input data. We write a code on the input data and we'll get the output data. So that's where, earlier people used to do before the data explosion. So let's say if you have a number, if you want to find whether the number is in even number or odd number, you just take the data, you write the algorithm on the data on top of the algorithm, then we'll get the output. Let's say if x mod 2 equal to 0, then x is even number. If x mod 2 is not equal to 0, then x is odd. So that is the earlier kind of learning. Now what happened once we have so much data, the approach is completely changed. The software engineer kind of approach has become data scientist as machine learning approach. So what do you mean by the machine learning definition? The machine learning is basically learning from the data without explicitly writing the code. That means what in this, so we have so much data, what we are trying to do, we are feeding the data to the computer with a lot of input and output data, and on contrary, we are getting the algorithm. So that is the difference between the earlier approach and this approach, where data makes this approach, workable. So earlier we don't have much data, we have input data, we used to write the program and get the output. Now we have lot of data, so where we are giving both input and output to the system, and on contrary, we are getting the algorithm. That's why this approach is called machine learning approach. What is machine learning definition? Learning from the data without explicitly writing the code. I think you can see my screen, correct? Hello?
Yes, sir. We can see that screen.
Yeah, because now, yeah. So that is the difference. So earlier what I'm talking is, I think now because of these data explosion, the most industries are getting automated. So such kind of industry, the HR industry, where in the HR industry, you heard the HR industry, or before that it was disconnected? I completely explained the HR industry, how it was automated. You are there at the time? No, no. Hello? Hello? Oh my God, what happened? Hello?
Sir, before HR, it was disconnected. Actually.
Okay, before HR only. No? Okay, now what I'm trying to say is basically with the latest technology, the complete HR industry has got, automated. So what actually, HR people will do, so basically they have a job description, and based on the job description, they will advertise and they will get a lot of CVs, and they have to shortlist the CVs as per the job description. Then they need to select the people and do the interview and give the training and check them on the job. So this is the complete process of the HR. So now with the technology of AI, this complete system has get automated. There are tools from the LinkedIn, some other tools, where to the given job description, they will shortlist the CVs based on the text similarity. That means they will take the job description, they will go and compare against all the CVs and shortlist the CVs. And once they shortlist the CVs, the first time of interview is happening through the voice-based chatbots. And once they joined in the company, all the company's rules and regulations will be explained by using the text-based chatbots. When even though they wanted to get the training based on that their knowledge levels, there are some machine learning, deep learning technology, they will suggest some kind of training. And when they are on the job also, they will see the emotion by the computer vision concept. They can understand whether the particular employee is happy or not happy, and if he is not happy, when they can also, when that company when that employee will also leave from the organization, they are also able to predict that. So if you see, the complete HR industry is getting automated with the AI and ML technology. And similarly, banking is also such kind of industry. If you apply for loan in India, it will take like 2 to 3 weeks. But if you see, if you apply loan in US, they obviously, they will take 4 to 7 minutes to approve the loan, because they have a lot of data. With the data, they have a lot of there are a lot of machine learning and deep learning application. From that, they will predict whether they are going to give the loan or not. Even if they are not giving the loan, they will also give why they are not giving the loan, why they are rejected. There have been a lot of interpretable machine learning algorithms. They will say why you are rejected, what is the reason also. So that level the industry is changing. So like that, telecom, banking also. And if you see the banking industry is always use a lot of data analysis. When they wanted to install the ATMs also, they will do a lot of catchmentation analysis. They will see who are the more potential areas, who are the most of the potential areas in that users, and based on that they do a lot of catchmentation analysis and do the ATMs and install the ATMs. When they also offer the credit cards, they will also understand the customer life cycles, spending habits, understand customer needs and risks, and based on that they will give credit risk. Sometimes they will increase the risk, sometimes they will also the credit balance, sometimes they will increase, sometimes they will decrease also. By understanding the customer, they will do a lot of data analysis, and also a lot of money laundering also. And now the technology is developed, so banks are also using a lot of advanced deep learning technologies to reduce this money laundering kind of things. That's why complete banks are also using this thing. As Krishna Prasad told, that because of the technology, the gap between humans and machines are coming very less, and the gap is coming very close. Because if you see the humans, what we do, humans, we will perceive the information, we perceive the information with our 5 senses, and we process the information. Once we process the information with the knowledge, we will act, and if we made any mistakes, we will learn. Because now there are a lot of technology changes are happening, a lot of data is available. Now computers can also unbundle these 5 things, and they are also behaving like humans. Like now with the reinforcement kind of algorithms, the computers can also learn, they can act, and they can also learn from the environment. They are also become as smarter as humans. So this technology is basically reducing the gap between humans and machines. That's why today we are able to see the artificial intelligence products, which can some places they are doing far better than the also humans, like language translation, some kind of products. They are doing better job. So now with this, actually, what will happen? Actually, there is a Google duplex video also. So now what, with this kind of technology, what is happening? The computers are also behaving like humans. If you go and search in Google, there is a Google duplex video. So what it does is, where the computer bot, where the computer product will call to the human, and it will receive the human call, and based on that human queries, it will also answer, it will also help. So that kind of analysis, that kind of things are also happening. And one more best thing happened with the industry 4.0 is, earlier data science applications are mostly static. They are not dynamic. But now because of the industry 4.0, now we are doing very dynamic, and online reports are also. That means earlier, if you see, we have like OLTP data system, like we have a lot of transactional database. From that, we will build a data warehouse on that OLTP. Then we will get some databases, some data marts. On that, we will apply OLAP applications and do some kind of reports. That reports are the dynamic reports. We will give up to last date. Till last date we will give. But now the new technologies are happening. Now all the reports are not static. They are on the live, and they are dynamic, and they are live. So this is also one. That real-time analytics is what very much important. Like if you see your GPS system, we are able to track the cars, because these are all real-time, real-time analytics. So how it's possible? Because of the technology, cloud computing, a lot of other computer vision technologies, this real-time technology, analytics are processing. So my take is basically, and a lot of technologies are growing. all this together or individually, making a lot of, they are creating a lot of services. They are enabling a lot of services which help the customer, like computer, like if you see like GPRS system, they can trace your location where we can find where that particular customer is also there. So those are some of the applications, and one of the most applications is one more big changes happened in the today industry 4.0 is the sensors data. Now we are able to capture a lot of sensors data. So what will happen in the sensors data? See, that's what I'm saying. In industry 4.0, the most of the analytics become the proactive rather than the reactive. Earlier, all the analytics or all the solutions are the reactive. When something is happened, people will try to find out why it is happened. Now people are trying to build a lot of proactive things. Proactive means like what we are basically proactive. We need to see what can be proactive and need to control this. So now let's see the sensor data. Let's say we have a lot of sensors data. Now because of the sensor data, now a lot of companies are using the sensors data from the lot of their what they call their industries, and they are also able to predict when the machine will fail you. So this kind of predictive maintenance project, they call this as the predictive maintenance data. So once we have the sensors data, we'll use the sensor data, we can understand that kind of what is that called, warehouse or whatever this thing site, and they will understand when the system will also fail. So this is happening with the sensors data. So that's what I'm saying. The technology like sensors data, machine learning, deep learning, they are all coming together with the help of cloud, where we can store a lot of data, with the help of algorithms, with the help of data, with the help of this machine learning. All are coming together and giving this kind of what they called wonders, which can help the customers. So one of the sensors example also, we also built some kind of application. What it does is basically, and we know Delhi is full of the pollution when it comes to winter. So what we have done is we built some of the sensors in various, we installed some of the sensors in various places of the Delhi. So what these sensors will do, they will capture a lot of data from the air, and then the data will come back to our server, and based on that we can present what is the situation of that location, whether it's the highly polluted or less polluted. Based on that, people can take a lot of people can take the respective arrangements. They can take the respective arrangement. So this is one of the example. So the sensors, basically the sensor data is kept, we are reading the data through the sensors, and based on that we are able to show these kind of things. And this is also one of the case study we built. So this case study we called as right. So this is basically to target the customer at the right place for the right offer. So this we call as the right case study. So what we have done in this, we actually have one sensor. I mean the sensor. Let's say the shop has one sensor, and people will use to download that sensor related app into their mobile. So when they come to this very close to the shop, through the mobile they can understand the location. That means when they come very close to the shop with the sensor and mobile app, I can trace the location. That means I know the customer very close to my shop, and based on that his past buying behavior, we will check his transaction, and then we will send a SMS saying that you bought this the last 10 days before. Now we have some more offers. Why don't you comment it? We know that we are very close to my shop, and you bought this kind of transaction. Now based on the transaction, there is still some kind of promo is going on. Why don't you come and take this off? So what we are trying to do, we are trying to use the technology to target the customer at right place for right offer and right situation. So these are all the latest, these are all the applications people are building using technology. And one more thing happened with industry 4.0 is, earlier people used to build the technology around business. Now what people are trying to do, people are building business around the technologies. What I mean by business around the technology, because I have sensors data where I can understand the location, now people are building this kind of businesses. So that's the differences. Earlier I have this business where people used to call, I need one product or one solution, they need to come and build the technology. Now what is happening, the technology is there, now they are leveraging the technology for the business. That is also one of the major changes happening with industry 4.0. Like that, lot of application. In actually China, there is one project called City Brain. So what they have done is, they have a whole lot of sensors there in the traffic. when any accident is happened, so the route of the traffic will automatically change it such that the ambulance or the police will reach that place more than anybody else, and more than this is actually, so that's what they can do. So this actually reduces the congestion by the 15%. That means the accident is happened, automatically the route will be, the traffic will be routed such that they can share, they can reach that these two people, either ambulance or the police people, can reach the place very quickly. And if you see the face recognition applications also happening with the virtue of the computer vision, as enable computers to understand the image is the computer vision. With the computer vision concepts, lot of face recognition tools are coming, which we are seeing in our iPhones and some other places also. In future also, airports also will offer lot of face recognition applications. And this is the applications of sensor data and text data also, with the concept of natural language processing, where the computers enabling computers to understand the human languages, as computers can also
Hello.
Yes. Yes, sir. There may be a network issue. Please wait for some time. It will be connected soon.
Yeah, it seems Venu sir is being disconnected. Yeah,
Okay. Is there any query?
uh, I'm trying to call him, but his phone is engaged actually.
Okay.
Seems
Okay.
again he lost the connection.
Yeah. And sir got joined, and session will be continued. Thanks for your patience.
Seems he joined.
Sorry for the disturbances. Actually, uh, Soros joined.
Yeah,
He'll
yeah.
start. He'll start in few
It
minutes.
seems
sorry, you can hear me? Hello?
Yes, sir.
yes,
Yes, sir. Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yeah, sorry, but a lot of my internet is getting problem today, the first time. Anyway, so
Okay,
in
sir.
chatbots are also taking a lot of business from the people. So hence there is a huge need to upskill yourself, where you need to build some of the application with these technologies. And sorry, already covered what is the data engineer, data scientist, different roles and responsibilities. And this industry has a lot of, all the companies are looking for this. And these are some of the tools. See, one more latest licensed softwares are there. now there are huge softwares are there like R and Python. They are the open source, and the huge communities also there where people come and contribute their knowledge, everything. They are ready to share their knowledge. So all this making this industry is very making this industry you can easily learn these all these advanced. It's not difficult to learn. As per some saying, the kids who born out after 2000 are really lucky kids because they have access to anything. If you want to learn anything, also now the content is there everywhere. All you need is the connection. You need to find the proper connection for the content and learn them. So that's what I'm saying. I mean, these are the some of the industry applications. So if you see the next 10 years, I think there are some top 25 biggest technologies are coming up, which are like AI and ML, IoT, some wearable technologies, big data, then blockchain, cloud computing, extended reality, natural language processing, voice interface, chatbots, computer vision and face recognition, chatbot, robots and catbots, autonomous vehicles, 5G technologies, genomics, then digital platforms, drones, cybersecurity, quantum computing, robotics process automation, mass personalization, 3D printing, nanotechnologies. All these technologies are coming together, and ultimately behind all these, the key role is going to be the data, machine learning, and deep learning technologies. So if you really wanted to be in this kind of, for future, these are the technologies. And to learn all these things, you need to have some of the quality. And to learn all these things as a student, you need to have some of the skills required. Those are like you need to learn a lot of critical thinking. You need to learn a lot of critical thinking related things, and you need to be like a technical savvy, because today dynamic things, the tools and the softwares are changing very dynamically. You need to have that kind of adaptability and flexibility to learn these softwares quickly, and need to be like you need to be like self-motivated, and also you are always ready to learn, because now, because of these technologies are changing very dynamically, the code is like lifelong learning and curiosity to learning. If you do all these things, like the future is going to be very very brightful, because there are a lot of technologies are emerging which requires data, which requires the data analysis, which requires to understand the data. And future, actually people are saying that there is one more most important thing, most important job is getting created, that is called data literacy. Now the problem is data is everywhere, but we need to people who can understand the data and give the insights. So that's why, other than like coding skills, you need to have problem solving skills, creative thinking. So most people feel that data science is a code, but data science is not a code, it's a thought. So you need to, once you learn all these kind of technologies, yeah, you are in the better place in future. I'm so sorry, I don't know today my internet connection is very poor. I'm so sorry for the inconvenience. Ask me, or I can, or you can take my number and you can ask me any.
Okay, sir, it's our pleasure to ask your doubts. And not at all a problem, sir. There is no need of sorry.
I don't know. I think first 30 minutes okay, but later I think.
Yeah, yes, sir, but it's not at all a problem, sir. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So are you done with the session, sir?
Venu sir, thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Thanks for accepting our invitation and giving the seminar.
Thank you, sir. Okay.
So, this is Pranav, coordinator, MVS, sir. On the behalf of CSR MVS, sir, I take this the opportunity of vote of thanks those who have directly or indirectly contributed to this webinar on data science organization, our organization. At the outset, I thank our speakers, Dr. Venugopal Rao, sir, and Dr. A.V. Krishnapada, sir, for your enlightenment with your knowledge and presence. We are thankful to our faculty advisors and for their motivation. A special thanks to the coordinators and the student counselors for unflinching support and coordination. Our heartfelt thanks to all participants for active participation. With this warm words and kind message, we move to the end today's webinar on data science. Thank you to everyone. Is there any doubts? You can ask this, sir. With sir's permission.
Hello. Thank you for giving opportunity. Thank you. Yeah.
Once again, thanks to organizing team. Thank you.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming, sir.
Yeah. Sure.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
taking a session. Thank you for taking the session. I hope in future we will do many more like this with CSI and with MVSR also.
Sure. Yeah. Sure.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for providing us a good. This, what you are telling is also very good information. I mean, high standard information. No one will tell about all this in outside. Okay.
Okay. Thank
Thank
you.
you, sir. Yeah.
Yeah.
And thanks to AV Krishna Prasad, sir. Sir, your information was very outstanding. Okay, sir. That's all I can. Thank you.
Okay, okay.
Okay.